Isn't some handwriting dreadful? You know, some children, they absolutely cannot write a neat word to save their life. And yet, many assume that they're choosing to write like that. Many assume that they've got a choice. They can either write very neatly if they want to, or really scruffily. But for many children, that isn't an option. It's not a choice they have. Their handwriting is very poor for neurological reasons. So a child can be sitting there and feeling really bad about how they're writing because they're looking around and everyone else's writing is neat, and when their books get marked by the teacher, everyone else gets good marks because they've written a lot and because they've written very neatly. And a few children, they really struggle with that. In fact, it's actually impossible for them. And the reason for that is it's neurological. We assume that it's a choice, but in actual fact it's not a choice, because their brain has not got the skills to control their fingers in a neat and organized way so they can write neatly. In fact, very often those children actually hold their pen in a strange way because the bit of the brain that develops the skills to write with their fingertips isn't itself developed. So they can't write with their fingertips like most people can. They have to write with their whole hand. And it's a very different process controlled by a very different part of the brain. In fact, it's the part of the brain that controls gross motor skills, our whole limbs, rather than our fingertips. And in fact, our eye tracking is the same fine motor skill that controls our fingertips. So if a child has got a problem with writing, a few things will happen. First of all, they're probably going to get blamed, and blamed unfairly. So start sympathizing with them. For many, writing neatly is not an option that they have. But the second thing is that that same skill that controls their fingertips and controls their eyes probably means that reading isn't as easy as it should be, because their eyes won't be moving as smoothly either. But the third thing is that the very fact that their fingertips are having to be controlled by their thinking brain, because they haven't got a hardwired skill, means that their thinking brain is full of stuff that shouldn't be there. So when they're working out actually what to say, what to write, to be creative, that's a process that should take place in their thinking brain, and it's already full of other stuff that need not and should not be there. So they've got nowhere to store that information. So when you ask them to write something, those poor kids, they've got nowhere to pull their thoughts together, so they end up not writing very much, and the bit that they do write is scruffy. So boy, are they in trouble. They're getting low marks for everything. They can actually be very creative. They can actually be very clever, but they have not got the mental skills to control the handwriting, which is the only way they've got to get out of them the thoughts that are in their head. So feel sorry for them. They can be bright, they'll probably be frustrated, but they certainly aren't making a choice to write badly. P.S. Before some teacher pointed out, there are a few children who choose to write badly because they're lazy. They can write neatly, but they don't. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about those children who are absolutely wired in such a way that it's impossible for them to write neatly. That's my PS.
I thank you for watching this video. Please do share it with anyone else that you know that could benefit from it. There's loads more to come, so do subscribe, because you can then become part of those warrior mums who are forming a movement determined to help their families in a way the establishment hasn't up till now.